that ran across the street. I know it's environmental police, but this thing was so big, it had to be 450 pounds. It was a black bear. If it stood up, it would have been 7 feet high. I've never seen one that big. I have in my backyard. Do you, to warn people, would I call the police department or the environmental?
We don't anymore. You know, a number of years ago when bears were kind of new to town, you know, there was a little bit more of an alarm raised about it, and you know, when people call about it, you know, we just tell them, you know, try to scare the bear away. Most of the time, they don't want anything to do with you. But the big attractor for that, and the environmental police often tell people not to leave bird feeders out, don't leave food and garbage out, and then they'll go back to eating what they're supposed to be eating. You know, but we've never had a genuine threat presented by any of the bears.
He was a big boy.
Oh, I had a big boy in my yard. I was running the lawnmower, and he wasn't afraid of the lawnmower or me.
Oh.
And he came within about 25 to 50 feet. He came out of the woods and just ambled across. Kind of looked at me and just kept on going. But I had a running lawnmower in my hand and didn't faze him.
They're mostly fearless, you know. All you can do is try to make them afraid of people. You know, make noise at bang. You know, people bang pots and pans together, yell at them, make some fun. You know, he's an ordinary little dog.
Right. Because these are not grizzly, these are just black bears.
Well, I think statistically there's more attacks by black bears than there are grizzlies, only because there's a greater abundance of black bears in human populations. So,
That's the one I've had, it's a big one.
yeah, that's not to say that they're friendly with their pets. You know, you give them a white bird, but try to scare them away and make them know that they're not. Again, the main problem is people feed them. You know?
This one I think was about 250, 300 pounds, and I think he would have waved at me if he...
Mike, he looked at you and he said
Just-
he wouldn't.
I had my hand on
You
that.
wouldn't taste it.
I was mowing the lawn, but I had my hand on the doorknob of the car so I could get in if he made any moves towards me. But he was spooky. He was a big boy.
Yeah, this one was huge. I mean, he was walking and his fur was
Shiny.
long, shiny, yeah. And you probably saw the same guy. He was huge.
He was huge. Biggest, I've had him in the yard before, but this was the biggest one.
I think he's after the select board members.
Yeah, maybe, you know.
Maybe he's targeting. Yeah. But he wasn't afraid of a running lawnmower. So,
Fine.
We have a motion on the table?
we did, no, we took care of that motion.
Oh, we got it, okay.
Do we have
So,
any other?
updates? No, nobody else here from any place.
The ladies in the back.
Anything
You
else?
got ladies in the back.
Oh, looks good.
You got ladies in the back.
Okay.
But do we have any more board?
Thank you, Chief. May we do something, or are you...
Waiting for the 7:15 meeting.
7:15, like all boards? All boards? Okay. Well, we got 3 minutes, you want to go through a few things?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. How about the payroll warrant?
Okay. Number P12-9, $218,116.60.
Move to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. But you must have it down there so we can sign it. No, down there.
It's in here. Oh, right here? Okay. Next is a bill warrant. W12-10 for $121,192.60. What are the wishes of the board?
Could I look at that, the bill one, just to make sure I don't have a problem?
There's also both binders.
Both binders?
Both of you?
Yes. Yeah, both of them are the bills.
The school bills we want to sign.
There's school bills in each one?
Schools in yellow.
Schools in yellow?
But we don't sign the school bills.
I don't think there's anything. No, that's the itemization. Yeah. I don't think I've got a problem with that. Move to sign the bill warrant.
Second.
All in favor? So moved. do this one here?
Yeah, I think everybody's done, no. It's that one, you guys. I'm done. That one's done.
Okay, PCFs and PRFs and disability forms and disclosure forms, any?
Nothing at this time.
Very good. One-day licenses, nothing at this time. Town owner agreements with PVPC, nothing at this time. Housing needs assessment and community development fund program, nothing at this time. And do you want to read this one?
That's separate. That's separate. This is different. Separate, yes.
Okay.
Did you get the folder with the signatures, Richard?
Which one? This one?
That one? We should be good. 1, 2.
Here's the signature.
Oh, yes, I do. I have the paper. That one? Yes.
Okay, it's 7:15, so we can have updates. Mr. Crowley, is there anything from boards and committees?
What's that?
Is there anything regarding you with the boards and committees, department heads?
We'll start that now.
Nothing?
Nothing major that, we had some damage from that Hurricane Irene. Dirt roads was being usual. Other than that, probably, I'll be putting a permit into, for assessment of damages, about 12 to 15,000.
For FEMA?
Yeah, right down to get it, because I'm state, I don't think this county is qualified. That's $13 million.
What's that?
He's $13 million.
At least 13 million. Did we get major damage?
The roads will be,
Was that?
dirt roads, washouts. A lot of roadside of the road that have flood zones and we're fixing it.
Trees, a lot of trees gone?
Yeah,
A lot of trees or?
about a dozen.
That's it, I remember he wrote that.
Should this be read at the meeting?
I don't know.
Maybe we should hold off until we find out.
Mm.
Okay, is there anything else, Jack?
No, I got an email from Jess, and I told him I think that wall this week.
That what?
The wall
I
and
received an email from Jess Dodds
Yeah.
in regards to painting. I said, paint that wall this week.
Okay, good.
And tile fixed in that room.
Good.
I don't know why they can't move in there.
So the tile's fixed and you're going to paint? Or
Yeah, the director of the office can move in there. It's not all of that.
Okay, yeah, in regard to that, I just had a discrepancy. Because in regard to the plumbing inspector and the Board of Health. The plumbing inspector, if I got this correct, and you were all here, said that we could leave it just as is with the sinks.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And the Board of Health, to my knowledge, said no, we must have a separate sink for washing.
I think if you get Rich Lexack, he had a determination by the Board of Health saying they were fine with the way it was then. They had 3 sinks all full, and that was enough.
Yeah, okay.
And there was an issue about a wash sink, and supposedly they worked out something. And
Okay.
I'm not trying to talk to them about the sink in the bathroom was adequate as long as it was assigned.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop in tomorrow and try to get all the groups together.
I mean, I really think people need to be, we're making these decisions, should be in front of everybody and saying yes and no. I know what the building inspector calls for now because I went through that 2 months ago.
Right.
We were all ready to go in there and take care of it, and there was changes. He tried just recently to do it himself, I think with you and Jess, and they thought they had it set. And now I'm going to go.
No, I think we're gonna settle it tomorrow. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna see the two of them, three of them, and get down to the bottom of this
The
matter.
building inspector and the plumbing inspector are working to try to get this done as soon as possible. I know they are.
Right.
I see the exhaust fans, and that makes me good.
Yeah. Okay, the electrical, Blanchard.
There are controls for that, by the way. And I can't find them.
There's what?
There's two, each one has a remote control.
Okay, yeah.
They have to come out.
I mean, the remote can't be found.
They were there before. I don't know where they are now. And that's so somebody in a wheelchair can activate it and use it. That was required by ADA.
So that's been done?
No, we can't find the remotes.
Oh, what's in the
A
building?
year later somehow.
The building.
It might be downstairs. I just haven't had a chance to go look for them.
I'll take a look tomorrow while we see these gentlemen.
I went to the boxes. I didn't see anything.
Okay. Very good. Is there anything further?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you. Is there any further comment by any boards or committees? Nothing else? Okay, department heads, anything?
I don't see a lot of people here. It's just going to be the old boards, all committees. Have you started that yet?
Yeah.
5 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I'd like to speak to the cemetery commission if I may. Scott's not here, so. Robert Floyd, 15 East Street. We met last week and we voted to proceed with the following. Repairing historic cemetery stones, whether it comes out of our budget, whether we ask for money, whether we apply for grants, but to start continuing to repair the historic stones. The iron fence, we like to reactivate that. That was presented several years ago to the CPA, so we're getting photos out, looking, see what grants are available also. The wooden fence on the northern part of the cemetery is pretty much rotted and needs to be replaced. We like to explore developing plots in an area of the cemetery, the southwest corner towards High Street. We believe it's pretty flat, and we'd like to bring it up a notch just to give us some extra plots. Hand prune and weed around existing gravestones. We get a few phone calls every now and then of somebody's particular plot, so we can, do that with a little sweat. We need to establish walks through the new cemetery lands to familiarize ourselves with the existing conditions and start planning on what can be for that new land. We want to investigate or stop the leaky faucets, and that's something we'll talk to the Water Commission. And Glenn Leonard, if he didn't do it today, will be calling a colleague from the Highway Department to look at maintaining, filling in the running roads that are collecting water. The biggest one being right in front of the cemetery.
What, leaky faucets?
Sorry?
Leaky faucets?
Oh, no, just the faucets are leaking, and I don't know if it just needs a wash or whatever, but actually we get people, not really us looking at them, just people running into us or calling us. And we get calls from people researching recently a museum about the 2 children that died in the big circus fire that are buried in the cemetery. They don't want to know exact plots. And the Junk family seems to be wanting to look up some of their historic plots. That's it.
Should there be any action taken on this?
I think they've got to come up with their budgets and everything.
Okay. Is there anybody else from the committees? Yes, sir.
Just one brief update from the library. The Board of Trustees has approved our new operational hours, which went into effect last Thursday. I have bookmarks that I'll pass to everyone. The only change that we made
Thank you.
The only change that we made in response to some very important feedback from the community, there was a desire that the library have similar hours to Town Hall. Traditionally, the library had been closed on Mondays. We're now open on Mondays, and we have only shortened slightly our hours from Friday afternoon. These are the same operational hours, the total number, there are 38 hours here. This is the same that was in effect a year ago, just an altered schedule. So, we hope people recognize that we're trying to align what we do at the library with Town Hall and other town offices, and we hope you'll all come by and visit us. Thank you.
And maybe for publicity's sake, we could just read off the hours so that,
Sure, for those who are listening, and here. Mondays we're open 10 until 4, Tuesdays 10 until 8, Wednesdays 10 until 4, Thursdays 10 until 8, Friday afternoons 1 to 4, Saturdays 10 until 1. Okay?
thank you.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir. Yes, Mr. Floyd.
Robert Floyd, 50 East Street, speaking as town moderator. Any ideas or plans for the upcoming special town meeting? Or any idea what dates, approximately what month?
Comment from the board?
I don't think we have one yet. Nothing's been discussed yet, Robert, about a special.
Why don't we'll
Hopefully-
discuss that next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, any other committees? Mr. Barker.
You got the fire chief walking in.
Chief, anything from committees, fire chiefs, anything of that nature, reports from you?
No, we did the annual 50 report on the storm coverage that we had. Everything worked out well. We worked well with the highway department, police department, storm here, as we all know, we lucked out compared to our neighbors. And, we had good staffing all day long. We answered about 11 different calls for ambulance, fire, wires on trees and trees down, stuff like that. It was all handled well, jointly by police, fire, and highway. Everything went very smoothly. And, I think it was a pretty good run operation.
Okay, in regard to the storm, it was mentioned earlier, but now that everybody's here, I'd like to reiterate, a letter was sent from the Board of Selectmen representing the town, thanking the fire department, the police department, and the highway department for their professional and expertise in preparing for the storm, which was not as bad as we thought it was. However, we were very well prepared for anything in regard to those three agencies, and we thank you very, very much for doing a great job. Okay. Is there any other boards and committees? Nobody. We got a lot of people here, nobody saying anything. Yes, sir.
On the water department side, we lost our well last 2 weeks ago. But we had a full tank. By the time we had it repaired, we were in good shape to restore that tank. We didn't lose any, we lost a little pressure, but that's about it. We put a temporary pump in, and the following day we put a new pump in. That was due to a lightning strike.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody else? Going once, twice, 3 times? Okay. Greenway Feasibility Study Committee. It says disbandment of such. Could we please have some input?
Sure, we want to know.
Okay, you've done your function.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my understanding, October 26th, or whatever meeting it was, when we presented the study, was essentially that would kind of be ending that committee, as soon as we completed our charge and passed out the study.
You mean last October?
April.
Oh, April.
Where are your records and minutes and things such as that? Where are your files?
Yeah, some of them was Rob, a lot of them I passed off to Diana as they got time
All
stuff.
right, so the file is basically here.
Yeah, should be.
So the question becomes, should we disband the feasibility study and create something other than a feasibility study committee?
Sure, I think that was, on one of our cover letter, that was one of our committee's recommendations. Was the design committee, establish a committee to evaluate federal, state, local funding sources, use that to identify a trail design and most cost, how would be most cost effective for the town, property acquisition, stuff like that. Certainly would be, to the board, whether you wanted to disband the board, or the committee rather, and create a new one, or change the charter of the committee and add to it.
I guess the first question is, how do we go about it? We've come this far, and do we take the temperature of the town to see if there's an overall support of going further with this, or do we make that decision? Or I asked that to my fellow board members as to how we proceed from here. I frankly would endorse converting the feasibility committee into a, what was your wording that you used?
Design committee.
Design committee.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, I use the bike path every day, 18 miles a day, unless it's pouring or snowing. And I love it. I lost 50 pounds, and I got new knees, of course, everybody knows that, and I'm just the most grateful person in the whole world. I'm semi-retired, so I have the opportunity to do that, and to me, the bike path is the most wonderful thing in the whole world. It gave me back my life. And I know I've got a long way to go. I'm for it 1,000%, period. That's my thought.
Do you feel the committee worked well together and had its goals and that you would like to?
Yeah, it did for this purpose. I think it would probably be good to at least add a couple of people to it, to bring in more of the design-minded folks, engineer background, that type of thing. And as well as the design thing, as well as the acquisition aspect.
I'm not.
The property specifically.
I'm not sure we wouldn't have to put, if we designate a new committee, I think we'd have to open it up for posting for all, to repost it. Not that we're looking to exclude you, the current committee, but I think in all fairness, we'd have to post and then appoint from there. But I guess my first question is do we do it or do we go to the town? I'm not sure the process that we need to go through.
I think we could do it like any committee. Out a memo just saying, is anybody interested in this? And I think what's very, very important for this one is to get people on it that were opposed to it. Okay? I saw the last one we did that was neglected, and that was probably my fault, which I take full responsibility for. But this one here, I would like to hear everything, pro and con about it, from people that are on the board that are pro and con. And it's going to give us a very good mix and a very good idea of what's going out there, what people are thinking, and how to address these things. I think that's a good idea to have the yays and the nays there. I do.
How many members does your board have now?
5.
Yes, sir.
Mike Taylor, 88 High Street, also a committee member. I just want to amplify a little bit, boss. I think whether it's the same committee or new committee, I'm agnostic, but I think this is a large and relatively complicated endeavor. I think you're going to need more than 5 people on the committee, particularly because you need a wide range of skill sets. You need people with financial expertise, legal expertise, engineering expertise, and people who can actually get up in front of a lot of groups and make the case. So my sense of this thing is that it's again, I don't care whether it's the same or different committee, but that whatever committee goes forward with this is something large has more moving parts or more skill sets represented. I think, in all honesty, I'm delighted that we got this feasibility study done, but it took us a certain amount of time. And I'm happy to lay most of the responsibility on the failures of the mistakes we've done, consulting on. But I think, in all honesty, part of the issue is that we did not tee up that process, ideally, on the front end. And I think if we had a better mix of skill sets on the committee, it might have moved along a little faster. So that's a real lesson for me, how to put this together.
How many committee members on the building reuse committee? How many do we have?
7 or 8. Yeah.
Do you have an idea of how many people would be a good number if you had the right, skill sets, as you say?
I mean, my gut says separate.
You don't want to get too big either.
That's the problem.
As important though is that, getting the right skills on there. To me, that's more important than any fixed number.
How about if we make a committee of 7, we solicit applications from the community, post it, but in the interim, we appoint the existing committee to the new committee until such time as we have an opportunity to review all the additional applications, so that the committee just doesn't cease. You don't lose your cohesiveness and your movement by stopping you all of a sudden, and I don't know whether that's a practical solution, and I also don't want to let any of you guys get away, because then we may not be able to fill the positions.
Is that a motion?
Do you feel that the constitution of your committee now has some of the appropriate skill sets going forward? I mean, that's the kind of question. You're going to have 7.
I'm not sure if we have the right mix right now contributing to getting this moving.
But the problem is you may never get the right mix of people. We may have to take what we get, and we often do.
I think with what you're looking at doing, Mike,
Yeah.
probably adding that, we change our charter a little bit. I mean, we're pretty much chartered to do the feasibility study. So in that interim, you give us something to work on. Maybe, I think the group we have now, we can work on the acquisition aspect of it. Start doing some of the legwork and communication between the town and the railroad. Try to move that.
Well, I mean, the posting would only be for like a couple of weeks at best, and then in the meantime, you don't lose your cohesiveness and you don't lose your members. And
That's a good idea.
And then we'll solicit other appointments. I'll be surprised if we get any 3 more to fill.
Well, what we could do is have everybody put in an application for it. In other words, you would continue your work until such time as this meeting, and then put in your applications if you're interested in serving further. Yeah. I think that would be good, because I wouldn't want to take somebody that spent a year or 2 on this, and they're tired, and they're here for the good of the town, and then make them feel like they've got to stay for another 2 or 3 years or whatever.
Any of them are free to resign whenever they want.
Yeah.
So, but we have 2 of the members here. I would assume, would you gentlemen like to continue on that committee?
Sure.
So we already have 2 applicants for the positions, and my motion is that we change the charter of the feasibility committee to the design and acquisition committee, and that we temporarily appoint all existing members to that new committee, and we solicit additional, how many? 3? 2?
Sure.
2 or 3?
3 weeks?
No, 2. How many additional
I think
people?
they said 7, so it would be 7 and 2.
I'm not sure that all the current committee members.
Yeah, I think we should
actually one will not.
Yeah, but I'm sure some would. Right. So,
But the idea is everybody's going to apply again.
Everybody's going to apply, and that way we could determine.
well, and actually we have 2 applications tonight. So I'll make it 7-member committee.
And when would you like to have the applications in by? And
Well, we have to post them for how long? A couple of weeks, so a month from tonight. Next
For the next meeting, well, the 13th, how about the 20th, September 20th?
Or how about first one in October? That gives it a month.
October 4th meeting?
October 4th.
That would be interviewed night?
Yeah.
And
An
the
appointment.
application should be in a week before?
Yeah. Whatever the application, normal application procedure is.
Is that a motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second on that motion? Any further discussion? Sir?
Excuse me. I have a question. Did Diana put in a grant application already for the,
I don't think so.
no? I thought she was working on something.
I don't know. I would ask,
I'm not aware of it.
yeah, I don't know.
I think we were looking more at state
Yeah, I
fund.
know Senator Knapp has always said he's had an earmark
Yeah.
for the acquisition of property for, whether that's there now or not,
In a lot of years.
it's hard to say.
Well, and that's something your committee would work on now. is
Absolutely.
Find out whether or not that money's still available.
Yeah, anytime I see him, he's always asking where we're at.
Okay, good. We have a
State's
motion.
watching, they're excited about it moving forward.
Is there any further?
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to motion. Go ahead.
You all set? Anything further? Any discussion? Okay, a motion has been set and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? No? I'm for. Thank you. Motion passed. Okay, open time for the public? Yes, sir.
Can I just stay on the greenway for a second, if I may? I just want to return to something, an issue that Mike raised about whether public approval was appropriate at this point. And I personally don't have a sense of what the right or wrong thing to do is in this situation. But we have reached a juncture where we've produced a study, we have information that has been presented to the town. Is it possible that it would strengthen the project going forward if we put a resolution up at the next special town meeting in favor of, establishing an acquisition and design committee to pursue the next
Or,
step?
and part of that, make a presentation that night similar to the one you made here in April, either before or after the meeting, and then as part of the meeting, I don't know whether, I've never, as long as I've been here, we've never taken a vote like that, but I don't know, can we? Can we take a non-binding,
I mean, I don't want to complicate life.
no, but I'd like to, I don't want to spend a lot of money, I'm in favor of it, but I don't want to spend money to do it if the rest of the town says no. I don't want to waste the money. I mean, we just had a police chief in here who said he can't buy bullets because he hasn't got any money, so, I don't want to waste the money. Yeah, you don't want to work for 3 or 4 years and find out it ain't happening. So, I mean, maybe that's something we consider for the next special town meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think, certainly the first next piece, I think, is to acquire the property. So we find out what the price tag is on that. And I would think when that goes on the warrant,
And if we, and that goes,
whatever the cost of the town may be,
right.
that'll kind of,
But I think we need to, I think it'd be a good idea to educate the public at this point in time.
Okay, good. Anything else open time for the public? Okay, approval of minutes?
Do we have any? No? We don't have any.
So be it.
We approve that we don't have any.
Okay, interim town administrators report? Nothing at this time? Other business and announcements? Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, upcoming events and meetings, September the 3rd, the 20th, and October the 4th and the 18th, Select Board Meeting Room on main floor at New Town Hall, 210 College Highway.
Is that an extra meeting in there, the 13th?
There is.
Okay.
Okay.
So, next week. And then not the, and the 20th.
Yeah, and the 20th.
Is that all set, Rick?
Well, it's up to you guys, if you approve it or not.
Okay, well, we're posted, we
Look
can
on
always
your-
cancel if
your
there's nothing.
Items of what's coming up.
Oh, here, your 13th agenda is attached to the back.
Was there a reason why we posted it 3 on the road?
Oh, that's the litigation update? Yeah, that's the litigation update.
Oh, okay.
new policies. Could be a quick meeting. I move that we take that as our calendar, the one as outlined in our agenda minutes.
Second? Yes? Aye? All in favor? Good. So move. Okay, review correspondence for United Nations Day Proclamation 2010, which is on the back of this. And this is a sample United Nations Day proclamation.
Just out of curiosity, who sent us this? Do we know where this came from?
The letterhead is on the previous page.
Oh.
Accept the motion to take this under advisement, therefore we can review it in the next meeting, act on it.
I'd move to table it because while I support the United Nations, I don't know that it's appropriate for us at the local level to.
Okay, is there a second on that, to table it?
These are just sort of symbolic. It doesn't commit us to anything. It's like supporting, our support.
Okay. Is that no? There's no second on it? So we'll just do nothing at this time. Motion does not pass. Fine.
You know, there's no note, but you got superintendent of school letter there that's not on the agenda, but it's attached to the packet. For review. They're looking for us to show whether we're in favor of more regionalization or less.
I think that's a big discussion.
Huh?
That's a huge discussion.
If you were interested in possibly pursuing increased regional services. Well, they're looking for a response from us.
Is this the one dated August the 2nd, 2011?
Yes. They'd like a yay or nay.
Okay, why don't we all take a minute and read it, and then we can voice our concerns. Has everybody reviewed this? What is the wishes of the board? I think they're just asking, are we interested in possibly pursuing increased regional services? And that means by going to a conference. The conference is in paragraph 2, and it's simply to discuss things.
Well, and they're also looking for, right now, like we did with taking that stripping machine down here. I mean, how many of those machines, for instance, are there district-wide, where if maintenance and custodials were regionalized, you might be able to move people between buildings and do things more efficiently than each building having its own equipment. I think they mentioned custodial, HVAC, internet.
Procurement and purchasing of goods and services. And I think they're just asking us of our interest.
If we're interested in, not to do it, just if we're interested in exploring it more.
And I think they are going to be attending the conference. I think
Right.
This is just saying, do we want to go take that next step? Can't hurt but talk about it.
Right, until you say no, until you have to say yes or no, you can always look at it.
What are the wishes of the board? Do we, if we ignore this, we're not going to be a part of the team. So I think it's in our best interest.
I'll move that we indicate that we are interested in hearing more or exploring more about possible efficiencies.
Second? Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Please do.
Possible. Do the local people that are doing these services lose the ability to do that? I mean, are we just putting everything out for other regional towns to, or other people to get involved in the services that we can provide ourselves?
I think you're looking at possibly pooling the resources. Right now, if you have, just for instance, if you had a sick custodian in Morris, they can't take somebody from Williamsburg and send them down here or vice versa, because they're employee of the town. What they're looking to do, I think, is to regionalize those common services so that they can move people between the buildings efficiently instead of having, excess in one and not enough in another.
Right, but I mean, if you look at job losses that we've had and local people doing work in our own town, I feel like by regionalizing it and spreading too much out, we might lose something in our own community that can benefit our own citizens.
Well, you might lose a person or something. Certainly, that's what you're trying to do, is get more efficient.
I know, but
Do more with less.
that's wonderful, but I still don't want to jeopardize anybody's job locally.
See, what I'm reading here, if I may, did I interrupt you?
No, I don't know how to. I just don't. Clearly, you're looking at more efficiencies, which means doing more with less.
Right. Some of the things I don't want to lose is our identity as to the people that we'll hire. In other words, in this town. I don't want the principal of the regional school telling us that we're going to use XYZ for a computer, or we're going to use XYZ for a plumber or HVAC or anything else. And it says, the conference will feature a series of morning workshops and afternoon roundtable discussions. The workshops will highlight a series of panelists who will share their interest and experiences on regionalizing, municipal services and best practices. Some of the topics that will be addressed include regionalizing emergency dispatch services, open source financial management software, intermunicipal agreements, and regional health district. It also goes on to say they have interest in exploring and implementing cooperative services in the area of building maintenance, HVAC, internet access, procurement, and purchasing of goods. I don't want somebody telling us what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. I think this is essential that we go to this and we get educated as to what's going on there, and we're a vital voice in this voting. I think if we step back and ignore this, we're just turning our back on progress. I want to know what we're voting on and be well educated, and the only way to do it is to go to these seminars. That's my thought. Just don't say a blank no or yes because you want to be, Mr. Greenie or whatever. Yeah, you want to get educated on it, and you want to do the right thing, and you want to protect your own interests. So I think we should go to these workshops, get educated, and then we can speak intelligently on it, and we can see what these people are also, what their aims and goals are. Okay?
Well, I think in the ideal world, that would be something we should do, but it seems as if they're offering to do it and go and then bring some of that
Right.
information, maybe material to us.
Right.
I don't know how many of us could go to Worcester in the AM.
Which day is it? As long as it's not deer season. Okay. And that's the way it is in America. When is it?
Doesn't say.
Okay, it doesn't say. Well,
September 1st at the
Oh, it already happened?
college. It's already done.
where is it?
They'll have more.
Oh, it's over. Wasn't that great? Okay, I'll go on 2 years ago. Okay.
But I presume that
Number one.
the school folks will
I'm
come
sure
to
there'll be
us and
more.
talk
I'm sure
about
there'll be
it.
more.
Just talk about it.
Okay, so we just table this at this point, or should we?
Well, I think they want to come and tell us what they found.
Yeah.
So I think my motion stands that, we ask them, we're interested in whatever they came up with.
Good.
Excuse me. Hence the reason why this letter was in your packet, because it was an all boards meeting, department head meeting, assuming everybody was going to be here, hence to open the door to the conversation.
Oh, so we should have done it when everybody was here.
They weren't present.
That's all right. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good, so be it.
Does that mean that we really should have an all boards meeting at the same time that we
No.
have the school folks come in? or-
The invitation was sent out, they just did not come. They did not attend the meeting tonight.
Oh, invitation to the school committee was?
Yes, to everybody. Yes.
Okay. Discussion items, charter communication, anything on that?
Nothing at this time.
Good. Timber cutting, nothing at this time. New town hall updates. Custodial grand opening, security punch list, da-da-da. The building reuse committee, which I'm privileged to be a member of, has had a meeting last week with the general contractor and the architects and engineers. And, pardon?
I think we're meeting on last Thursday. I thought it
I believe that was on Monday.
Yeah, there's something about a meeting this Thursday. There's something.
They didn't have it.
We didn't have it last week.
They had Monday, but they didn't
It
have
was
it.
scheduled for last Thursday, the meeting with the building reuse committee. Okay, at the meeting that we had specifically for discussion with the general contractor, the architects and engineers, was points of contention. There was issues where the general contractor has charges in that we're debating, and also we have charges back to him that we feel he should have done work and the town did it. And so we are hashing that out at this time. Okay?
And there were emails today about that.
Yes. Okay, so a building use policy, the draft was provided for review on 8/23. That was the same thing, Reg?
Did we get the time for that grand opening, did we, for the public?
Yes, you guys, I believe you guys.
Yeah, you did a
Office
proposal.
hours like 6 to 8, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got nothing else here.
Move to adjourn, or is that appropriate?
I have one thing. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mrs. LaFlamme, please go ahead. I should have put on my glasses. I can't see far with these. Pardon me?
Congratulations to you, and I'm glad that you're enjoying like that.
I am, I love it.
My question, you were just talking about some issues with this building and the contractor and so forth. What function was the clerk of the works, and how does that play into, it sounds to me like it's between the selectmen or that building committee and the contractor, but where does the clerk of the works come in terms of responsibility for the oversight of what did or did not get done?
Yeah, the clerk of the works was, as I understand it, he is the owners, which is the town of Southampton, eyes and ears, and making sure that it's done properly. Okay, he represents the town of Southampton.
So what function is he playing in this ongoing discussion that
Okay.
you seem to be having?
Okay, himself and the building reuse committee and the architects and engineers have met with the builder, who is in charge of the whole building process.
The general contractor?
That is correct, yes, yes. And he's responsible for all the subcontractors and everything. And in that discussion, we had discussions as to why some things were not done, when they were going to be done, and whose responsibility it was to do them if there was a disagreement. Like some of the things that were very bright, this happens on every building job, and at the end, it's always a mess.
The unexpected occurs, the unforeseen weather conditions.
Yeah. Who was supposed to paint this on the outside? Who was supposed to do this? And the architect simply can't have everything 100%.
I would just hope that whoever is responsible to seeing that the project is successfully completed, that the town taxpayers are not left holding the bag for expenses that should have been part of the contract and incorporated as part of the contract. A few meetings ago, you were talking about hiring an engineer or engineers to determine whether the windows leak or the roof leak. To me, the town of Southampton, in signing an agreement, would expect that as part of the contract, that we would not have a leaky roof or windows. And so I don't want to see the town stepping in and assuming responsibility, which is not really our responsibility. I believe that it rests elsewhere.
Okay, I'll see that the Building Reviews Committee gets that message passed on to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Ahern, is there anything, ma'am? Okay, I just thought you were ready to say something. Sir?
I did go by the old contention of the charter. They haven't touched it at all.
Okay.
Passing that way, I said, oh, just hold on, we got a pole still sitting right in the driveway.
Okay. What happened with that?
Mr. Cullen and Ms. Pike are scheduled for October 4th.
Can you speak louder? I'm sorry.
Mr. Cullen and Ms. Pike are coming into your meeting on October 4th.
Okay, very good, thank you.
I even have brand new hearing aid batteries in there, let's go. Okay, good. Is there anything else?
There is, excuse me, you have your grand opening on October 18th, and a couple of the Building Reviews Committee members will not be here, and they asked, would you reconsider moving the date?
Someone's not going to be here no matter what day we pick. I think we're going to run into that no matter when we pick. We finally picked a date. I don't know how we can go back on it. We've started notifying people, haven't we?
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, then we're going to push it off later. To the next 2 weeks later. I don't know.
What date are they saying?
Who can't? I mean, is it? Bruce.
Okay, that's for the grand opening?
And we picked that because
It's office hours on that.
that's all it was. We got away from the holiday weekend
Yes.
and everything else. Well, I mean, I'm willing to move it, but I don't know that we're not going to have somebody else who can't be here.
No matter when, somebody's going to be, not going to be able to attend. I think you just should have it when you have it, and that's it. Is there any thoughts on it?
Well, because of who it is and how important it is to allow the process, I would say move it to the 25th.
Okay, what day is that, the 25th?
Tuesday.
The next regular Tuesday.
I'm fine with it.
I'm making a motion.
The 25th of what date?
25th of October, right?
That's an off week.
Oh, what's the next
The
on?
next on week is November 1st.
You know how close we are to deer season? It's just,
And then you won't be here.
okay.
So it has to be November 1st?
I'll accept the motion at this time.
I'll move that we move the grand opening to November 1st.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, sir? Got a lot of that.
All in favor?
It'll be December before we're done.
Those ayes, ayes?
Do you have an aye or a?
I'll go aye.
Okay.
But
Motion
I think I'll be
approved.
voting to move it to December next.
Okay, motion
Remember
approved.
that day, we have a select board meeting at 7. We meet with the board meeting at 7, instead of 6:30.
Mr. Floyd?
Robert Floyd, 15 East Street. The grand opening, so it's now November 1st. Will the senior center be in operation by then?
It certainly should be. The electrical, Blanchard and Daly donated labor to do the electrical on it. Last Thursday, we hung 2 exhaust lights over the range type, and as soon as somebody gets the electric range up, we're going to hook that up and we'll be done. The plumbing is in process, and I'm going to have a meeting on that tomorrow to clarify some things.
And Ed's gonna do some painting.
Okay, and Ed is going to, when, next week?
This week.
This week? Okay, he's gonna do the painting, so I would say within, if the plumbing gets done, I would say within a week and a half, 2 weeks tops.
And I'd like to make the announcement that the room has been there for a long time they could have used had they chosen to do so. The kitchen they didn't have, but the room they did, and they chose not to use it.
I was surprised to see the people in it and celebrate Southampton the morning hour.
The room has been there for them to use for a long, long time, and they've chosen not to do it. So the room, in fact, has been done for some time. The kitchen, no. The room, yes.
For 2 weeks or so. Thank you.
Pardon me, I didn't hear that.
2 weeks or so, that just summarizing what you said.
2 weeks, the kitchen should be done. 4 months ago, the room was done.
But the bathroom wasn't.
4 months ago, the room was done.
Quite the,
There was an occupancy permit issued on that room quite some time ago.
Got it.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
second.
All in favor? So moved. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.